everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. I'm Sunny. I'm here with a couple of people. Let's everybody introduce yourselves.
It is me, Caleb, as I've always been here.
And who we got?
Trevor.
All right, Trevor. So, for those that don't know, Trevor is a player at our locals ETB in Alexandria, Louisiana. And you are actually a sponsored player by the shop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, for those that don't know, sponsored players are basically the shop helps them out, gets getting them the right cards that they need and stuff like that to compete, represent the shop at a local and like regional level, and compete the best they can. So generally, these are the better players in the shop, the better players in the area. And Trevor, as far as I'm concerned, you're probably the best player in Central Louisiana.
I wish I was, but thank you.
Well, you have a very, very, very consistent track record of tournament success, both on a regional level before lockdown began, and since, after COVID, I know there was a bit of a break. Nobody really wanted to play at the beginning of COVID because it was like, Synchro Eldritch and Adamant Spader. Who wants to play?
Oh, gosh.
The people who had those decks really wanted to play.
Oh, dude. That was a terrible format.
Right. So you take a break during that format. You come back during the VW format because there's trap decks are playable at that time. You can play a control game. And moving through into that format, I know you got more and more into the game state and you start topping again in a lot of different places. So why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, who you can be in the game, out of the game, just who you are in general. And if you want, you can talk about your history of the game, or you can talk about just whatever.
Okay, cool. I started playing the game in about 2014, right around Shadal, when it started popping up. And
right. Like Duelist Alliance
Duelist
format?
Alliance, yeah, stuff like that. I was absolutely atrocious. I was playing Heroes when Stratos was banned, and Super Poly was banned. I had gotten limited or banned or whatever, and I thought I was good, and I was just like, I'll just make a hero deck, and I'll just be, Jade and Yugi, and and I was so obsessed with the show and doing that, and then I decided to pick up a 6 Samurai deck when Shein was at 1. I was kind of just humble beginnings, just like everybody else, just going through the ringer of this is cool. But I didn't really start actually playing competitively until 2016, Paleozoic, ABC, Metal Foe. And at that time, I remember I got absolutely sick and tired. I was getting destroyed by everybody with my totally awesome heroes. And I said, hey, I'm going to build a Paleozoic deck, because Paleozoic popped up, and I absolutely loved the way that it worked with the Swamp Frog and the Duke Frog. And the Ronin Totem worked with the Paleozoics and the chaining. And now that mirror match was absolutely horrible, I'm not going to lie. But got into the game, started doing decent, but I didn't get really, really good until about 2018, 2019, when Orcus and Solomon Great started popping up everywhere. But my first top was actually with whenever Miscellaneous Source was at 1. And it was full Gumbalar Loop, Pendulum FTK format. And I played Dinosaur, and it was just Miscellaneous Source at 1. And the way we got Pill was through dumping Overtext from the deck.
I mean, whatever works.
Yeah, those were dark times. I show up to a regional with 2 Droll and Lockbird and 2 Ash Blossom, and they ended up getting 13th out of a little, 125-man tournament. And I was excited at the time. And next tournament, I got 24th, got the last spot, and with Dinosaur again, and I was super excited because I got Gumblar looped twice that day, and the fact that I even got to play, I was just excited. After that, I picked up Solomon Great, my boy Dylan. He's been on the podcast a couple of times.
For those that don't know, Dylan's chilling in the corner.
He always hooked me up. He literally bought me a Solomon Great deck for my birthday, and we knew that Wolves would be cheap, and I was like, you know what? Ash is in the thing. I'll just play this. And that was when my Yu-Gi-Oh! Really took off. I can't really remember my placings, but me and Dylan went on a super trip of 9 tournaments, and I topped every single tournament. And
nice.
I said, yeah, it was.
And a lot of those were regionals, right?
Yeah, they were all regionals. They were Houston regionals,
Houston,
Fort Worth, and we were going to Mississippi. We were going to Alabama. Then I picked up an Orcus deck off Dylan, And I remember we went to the YCS. I got like 180th out of like 1,300 players.
Right.
Yeah, that was when Call by the Grave was at 3, so Call by the Grave was really deciding a lot of games, and it sucked, but I did okay as my first YCS, 180th, and I was like, okay, like, I'm going to go to Alabama, and I'm going to go get a top because I want to go to Nationals.
Right.
So the next week, I tell my wife, order me a hotel, going to the regional, I'm going to go get this top. Ended up getting a spot, and then I think that was like 2019 or so, and I think Nationals was going to be like in 2020. I'm not really sure, and then the world just like ended.
And the world ended.
Yeah, and then, so I never got to go to that. But I topped a couple more with Orcus. I played a lot of like different builds of Orcus. I didn't play like the typical Stride Striker. I played like Machine Dupe Orcus.
Right,
like,
right.
I would bring out like Nightmare and make like a big, and like Machine Dupe would make like a big eye. Like I just play super obscure decks. Had the hiatus. And then we had a thing where we were going to have a team war or something like that. And I came back into the game with Eldritch Zoo because I just knew that with Trident there, like, it was stupid. And then they released Zeus, and I'm like, oh, this is even more insane.
Yeah, it just breaks the deck even more.
Oh, people summoning what was that, Calamities?
Yeah, True King.
And I just laugh. I'm like, that's cool. Like, set like 5 pass. And I torrential them when they try to extend, and it felt good to finally have a control deck back in the format because I've played going on 7 years. So I've seen a good bit. I wish I would have seen like the great years, like, the GOAT formats and like the slow. And some people might think that it's not great. I think it's great, but the slower formats, but it was so nice to have a control deck back. Right. And here we are playing mid-range Tri-Brigade Snoresville, and had the Tournament of Champions, got top 4 in that. Definitely one of my best performances, and just been on a tear, winning GOAT tournaments, topping in these like 25-man, 30-man tournaments, and right now that's supposedly super impressive. So I'm happy with the results. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really difficult in a lot of places to get tournaments of any size right now, especially live in-person stuff, and especially with basically the Rona like ramping back up like quickly. To be able to like get like a 25-man tournament, and for those listening that are worried, like it's all being done safely, masks required, stuff like that. Oh yeah,
definitely.
You got to take your precautions, everybody, but we do go to a lot of those tournaments, and usually me, Trevor, and Dylan all ride together, and either Caleb or somebody else will come along, and
I come when I can.
Yeah, and just all those, it's crazy to go to these tournaments. Like we went to one today. And Trevor, you went 4-1?
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, I went 4-1 too, but that one loss was to you.
No, you played well, man. It was a super simplified game stages.
Yeah, there was a misplay there, but
Zeus is a heck of a card, man.
It really is. I honestly, I think Zeus is probably I think a lot of people would consider Zeus a problem card in the format. But
I agree.
It's getting a reprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they got to make their money off of it before they hit it on the ban list.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, there was a long time ago, man. They reprinted Shadal Construct, and they were just like, nah, we're just going to get rid of this. So you never know what could happen. It did. It was super close. They were like, here's the Construct reprint. Oh, you want to play Construct? Nah, bro.
Too
We're
bad.
just going to take it from you. Yeah.
How did they hit Construct on the ban list?
They went from 3 to 0.
Oh, Construct was all the way banned?
Yes, it was all the way banned.
I didn't know that Construct was ever banned.
It was. Card was a tank back in the day, man.
I mean, the card's still, not a bad card. Like,
yeah.
I want to say that deck went from, 3 Constructs to 0 Construct, and then 3 El Shadal to 1 El Shadal.
Yeah.
Same list.
Wow.
And then Construct came back to 1, and people just freaked out and just started playing
lost their
again.
mind.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, it was wild. It was fun.
So, I'm glad we got to know a little bit more about you. I'm going to take a quick second here to announce something, though. I meant to do it at the beginning of the podcast and got excited about having a guest. And we did, for those that are interested and for those that would like to know, due to popular demand, people requesting it actually, and we talked with a lot of the people on our Discord server. We wanted to, essentially, we started a Patreon. And I know it's kind of early in the lifespan of the podcast, but our goal here is to make the podcast the best version of itself that it can ever be at all times. We spend a lot of time trying to get our audio right. It doesn't always work, but
We try.
Yeah. We work really hard to work on a consistent schedule, even when it's not like convenient for us. And the thing is, there's a lot more that we want to do with the podcast that we're currently unable to do because of limitations. And we want some things like some really nice, better microphones. We'd like to get a couple of nice cameras and start live streaming the tapings, things like that. But the best thing that we knew to do was to either start a subscription-based thing through Spotify or a Patreon. And we decided to go with the Patreon because it's a little bit more flexible in what we can offer people. Right now we have 3 tiers. We have a $1 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. And for those that join the $5 and $10 tier, we will be offering an extra episode per week. I'm not gonna lie to you, it probably won't be quite as high quality and
Structured.
yeah, quite as structured as the current episodes are. It'll be a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit less formal. Me and Caleb might end up having to do remote recordings just because, honestly, with our schedules, 2 episodes a week, we meet up in person usually. 2 episodes a week is already kind of a lot. So to do the 3rd episode, we might have to do remote recordings sometimes, but you will get a 3rd episode every week. And we're even considering starting some series, doing things like reviewing the best sets of all time, or just going set by set and reviewing them all and talking about each set. And this will be Patreon content. For those that don't join the Patreon, there will always be your regular Tuesday and Friday episodes, roughly an hour in length. You'll always get that no matter what. You don't have to subscribe or anything, and we'll never take that away. We're also never going to lock ourselves behind a paywall. So you can always join the Discord server and come talk to us, hang out. We'll always be getting matches in with everybody. So don't think that to have a line to us, you need to be a Patreon. But what we do get, even if you subscribe at the $1 tier, you always get a shout out in the podcast. So
We're going to do that now.
that's exactly right. We do have 3 Patreons already. The people that are on our Discord server heard about this a couple of days ago. We have Mr. Jeremy Drysdale, Mr. Ray Powell, and Mr. Austin Johnson. Thank you so much to the 3 of you for showing out and showing your support. And we hope to have many more in the future. So coming off of that, though, and going back into the discussion with Trevor, so we wanted to talk a little bit. We just came from a tournament, an advanced tournament, and looking forward, we know that the format might be getting stale for some people right now, but in the upcoming months, the format's going to change quite a lot.
So we're getting lots of product in
Absolutely.
a very short amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah, we're looking at probably 6 different sets coming out, 6 different products coming out in the next 4 months.
Jesus.
6 products in 4 months.
Between October and January.
Yeah, really
And they already
3.5 months.
And they even have stuff that's slated for like February and March release too.
My gosh.
Yeah. We already have the schedule all the way through the end of January. And through the end of January, I think it's 8 products. So we've got Megatins, we've got Brothers of Legend. So the Megatins won't have any new cards, and Gold won't have any new cards. But Brothers of Legend, Synchro Storm, Burst of Destiny, and there's a January set too.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Synchro Storm because that was when it was pushed back originally, but that's not correct.
No, it's not. It's not. It's something else. There's also something slated for January.
Yeah. Then there's also the Cyber Dragon structure deck coming out too.
Right, and that'll be new Cyber Dragon stuff. Grand Creators.
Grand Creators, that's it.
Is the January set. So, I mean, you're looking at around four meta-defining things or meta-relevant things coming out within, a month of, 4 months of each other. We'll be getting a ban list. I think October is the next ban list.
Yeah.
So if October is the next ban list and we get four new meta-relevant sets in the next 4 months, I mean, you're looking at 4 meta-relevant sets coming out within that format. the game will be completely different 6 months from now. It's always different on a month-to-month basis, but you can look right now in August and look back in March, or I don't know, 6 months back was February, and the game's not like a completely different game. But 6 months from now, like, the decks that are relevant now are going to be gone, and it'll be a completely new set of decks.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, anyway. I mean, the decks will still be played, and you'll still see them, but I mean, in the same way that you still see Virtual World versus what you used to see.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's always new toy syndrome, which is going to make more people want to pick up the decks to begin with, just because they're new.
Right. And then, so I think the first thing to talk about is the ban list and which decks in the current format will no longer be large threats in the upcoming formats. So I think the 3 tier 1 decks to talk about that are really the relevant decks. I mean, you could realistically see hits to things like the Invoke Shadal or Dogmatic packages, or things in that range. I don't see it really happening though, as much as Drytron, Tri-Brigade, and possibly Prank Kids. But those are the 3 decks that I think if Konami wants to truly change the format, they have to look at those 3 decks and say, if we need to move these decks out of the way to make room for the new set stuff coming out. So is there any particular way that you think that, it's not meant to be a ban list episode necessarily, but is there a way that you think Konami handles any of those 3 decks in particular?
I think the one way you can handle Prank Kids, and me and Dylan had this discussion, is if you put the little Link 1 to just 1. Because the Battle Butler at that point has to either use that one resource or it tributes itself. So there's only 1 pop. Because let's be honest, Battle Butler's really strong. It can be stopped.
So one more time, what do you say the
little
Meow
cat
Mew?
Meow Meow Mew? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you just put it to 1. Now that's that might not be like super optimal, but the deck is still playable with what's the recycle card? Pranks, I think. Gosh, I can't remember. Plan, yeah.
No, it is Pranks. It is Pranks.
Okay.
Because Pandemonium is the fusion.
Yeah, I think you put the cat to 1, you have to shuffle it back. So you'll have to play 3 of that. So it puts like a weird kind of ratio in your deck. Because they're only playing 2 because it's searchable. And you do that, and like, what else can you do to Prank Kids, you know?
You don't, if you put the Link 1 to 1.
Yeah.
They don't get the double regular.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's honestly hard for them to play the game.
Then they have to play 2 Battle Butlers. So then that closes. I mean, they don't have to, but I mean, it would be a little bit more optimal to do that, you know?
Yeah, it changes up the deck significantly. And honestly, if you limit the cat, ooh.
I think it's either the cat or it's the field spell, to be honest with you.
Field spell is pretty busted.
Yeah, the field spell is good, but I think the cat is what really.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, the cat's what sent the deck over the top, right? When the cat didn't exist,
exactly,
the deck wasn't playable.
Yeah.
The field spell is the issue because like it makes hand trap. It's almost like another callback grave because of the fact that it can chain block everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and that's kind of like the deck's main like issue is that Ash, Skullmeister, those cards really hurt. But if they have that field spell, it's legit just like callback grave, Insta-Fusion, all those cards. Like it does the same thing.
Yeah. Field spells have just gotten so crazy nowadays. Meltdown. Everything has like a Meltdown-esque effect.
Right.
Like even the Fafnir field spell for Drytron.
Yeah.
And I read the other day I tried to stop it because I'm an idiot. And
and it prevents you from stopping the rituals.
Yeah, and my opponent just smiled at me and I was like, you win, bro.
Yeah.
It's amazing where we've come. Because I remember Cosmo Town was like, to me, that first field spell where it was like, whoa, like, shuffle back. Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, everything got that way because they would pop it with Slip Rider,
right?
Do all kinds of crazy stuff, and then it just took off after that.
I mean, if you think about it, like terraforming was at 3 until like 2015, 16.
And Chicken Game, oh my gosh, dude, Chicken Game.
I remember when field spells just gave certain monster types a bonus to attack. Oh, and then they messed it all up by the ones that gave them more attack, but also decreased their defense.
Dude,
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I remember playing Harpy's Feather
Power.
Duster and Goat for the first time. Whenever I was bad, he goes, "I'm gonna play a Harpy deck," and I was just like, "Harpy's Feather Duster, popping." It was pretty decent, but it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah. it's an interesting dynamic now with the field spells. I get Konami's always looking to take an older mechanic and make it relevant again, but some of the field spells I think if you're gonna hit the invoke deck, I mean,
Meltdown is.
I had Meltdown cause issues for me today.
Yeah, and people will not put that deck down. People refuse to put. We'll put it on the YouTube channel. We'll put a Tri-Brigade list or a Drytron, 75. Shadal invoke goes up. It's like 600 views. We've only got like 66 subscribers. Like, where are you people?
Seriously.
So, for those that don't know, Trevor and Dylan pretty much run the Team Darkon Dealings channel that we are always talking about on the podcast that we plug at the end of almost every episode. So I want to make sure that everybody knows there will be a link to that in the description below. So you can go on, check out all their deck profiles, check out Trevor and Dylan, and all the wonderful content that they're putting out there.
Yeah, sorry we don't edit, guys, but I'm busy a lot, and Dylan's lazy, so.
We upload directly from our phone.
Literally, we're the cell phone brigade, man. We're like, hey, do you want to be on YouTube? And people are like, yeah, sure.
To be fair, the video quality on cell phones these days is
absolutely insane.
Oh, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
So, that handles prank kids, just limit the cat, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So what about Tri-Brigade? I know you play the deck right now, so you might have kind of a... you and I both play the deck, actually, so there might be an interesting perspective there.
I don't have a sweet spot for Tri-Brigade. I absolutely hate the deck, but it's the it's the best deck, so I'm going to play the best deck. Dylan can say what he wants to say, but it's the best deck.
I'm not going to interrupt that.
It's salad, but, like, better. It does everything that you need it to do.
All right, Dylan, chime in. I see the faces you're making over here. No, you may as well just tilt that microphone and let Dylan chime in.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Okay.
It just does everything you need it to do. It searches, it revives, it banishes, non-targeting. Even Omen, that card is the
insane.
Craziest link I've ever seen in my entire life. Besides, like, Apollosa Boral Sword and, like
access code kind of thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, like, just, like, a built-in, like,
an archetypal.
Search. Yeah, and I'm just like, man, like, they were just on something when they made this card.
Yeah.
Also, the non-targeting banish.
Yeah, and, like, then you could chain block it. I'm like, man, this dude is not very ominous. He's just, like, it's like the ominous Omen. It's like, nah, man, I'm just going to mess up your whole board. I'm like, Jesus.
He's an omen of you're about to get your rear end handed to you.
Basically.
Yeah, that card is absolutely insane.
I think if you put Revolt to 1, Pot of Desires is taken out of the deck.
Yeah, you have to cut Desires.
I
mean, then again, Striker players are still playing Desires, and they only have one engage.
Well, that's the good Striker players. See me? I can't play Pot of Desires in a Striker deck and be successful. I'd still suck. I think if you put Revolt to 1, the deck is kind of there. And I don't want to say tanky because people are so tanky, and it's just like, yeah, but, like, it could be popped, it could be ashed, and then it's just... I just think Revolt to 1. Then you have to start playing Rugal. Like, Rugal will become a way bigger part of it, because there's so many times where I don't get to my Revolt, I make a Rugal, and I have to, like, hard make an Omen, and just kind of sit there, and just hope that they don't have a Droplet or a Dark Ruler no more, or I'm just... You force them to make non-optimal plays.
I think another good hit would probably be Shiraz to 1.
Kuraz to 1?
Yeah, because if
man.
you really think about it, like, it's these only effects that's different, like, in a way where it's, like, an extender. And, like, it makes it so where it's hard to, like, you can't just play through a lot of stuff. Like, you have to hard draw a one of.
If Kuraz went to 1, 2, that deck would be obsolete. It really would be. Because... everybody's got the answer to the second extender now. Everybody's holding the imperms. Everybody's holding the effect veilers. That Kuraz comes out, they're striking it. They're banishing it. And what are you going to do? Like, just kind of sit there.
Cry.
Yeah, cry silently.
I think Shureg to 1 would be
Really?
interesting. Yeah, because think about it. Like, if you put Shureg to 1, you have to be really careful about when you revolt. And...
you'll have to recycle it too.
Yeah,
We'll
not
have
only
to
do you,
find some way to do it.
either, and even if you can't recycle it, your revolt becomes like you have to cut like one revolt. Either that or just learn how to do more with Rugal.
Yeah.
Or use Revolt as less of a blowout and more of an extender.
Well, you'll have to start hard making the omens so you can revive it.
Yeah.
Do something with it. You'll have to keep it on board. You'll have to protect it.
Yeah.
The deck would really struggle if you put omen to 1.
But because you still have that Revolt Omen play if you need it, the deck's still playable.
It's not very good, though, at that point.
But neither is Prank Kids with 1 Meow Meow Mew.
But you can't. But the thing is, Prank Kids have a built-in art type recycle. Tri-Brigade doesn't. You got
I see what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
shuffle back to the
shuffle back the cat. Yeah, just shuffle back the cat and just restart.
Yeah.
Go back from square one. Sure, you lose your battle butler, but you're still fighting. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you just play a second butler at that point. It's like, all right, like make another butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
Ban Oppo.
If they banned Apollosa,
Yeah, because honestly, Appaloosa's becoming an issue, dude.
it can warp some games. But I feel like there's so many cards to out that card. Imperm, Droplet.
Effect Veiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just get rid of all the attack off of it.
Dark Ruler.
Dark Ruler. You can
Yeah.
you could tribute it. You can swing over it. I love when people make like a 16 attack Apollosa. I'm just like normal summon Fractal.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, though, if they're making a 1600 Oppo, they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I do think that, honestly, any of those hits kind of does the job. If you restrict any of the main deck Tri-Brigades...
You can't do that, yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you restrict any of the main deck Tri-Brigades, you start running low on names and low on material to banish. So, the deck is strong, and the deck is... the deck's strong, it's got high power, it's very consistent, but the thing is, it's kind of like, it's really fragile. Like when it comes to ban list talk, the deck's really fragile because if you limit literally anything in the deck,
That becomes obsolete.
it becomes almost impossible to play.
Everything just kind of falls apart.
Well, I mean,
Shurag is the most. Shurag is the limit that's like, it sucks, but like you can still play the deck. Everything else, the deck's basically unplayable.
Well, me and you experienced that with like Tri-Brigade names today. It was dump all the names, activate, banish for cost, and it's effect veiler. Then you tried, and I impermed you, and then I tried, and then you.
I had 2 more
me.
imperm set.
Yeah, and it came to a point where we lost all of our names. I mean, there's only how many names are there? Like 12.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That really is.
Yeah. Just like sure, prank kids have 12 names also, but they can recycle them nonstop.
Exactly.
And once all the names are out of the deck or banished, unless you just have Revolt, you don't have a way to get them back in grave. You don't have a way to get them back in the deck. It can be tight.
I mean, just start running Return from Different Dimension. Problem solved.
We're playing traditional format now. We're playing traditional format now.
Necrophage.
Oh, no, not Return. Burial. My bad. Burial from a different
I'm
dimension.
going to say Jesus.
Burial's the one that puts like 5 banished back in the...
Three
banished back in the grave.
It's a quick play. It's not terrible, but it's not incredible.
All the reason why I know the card is because I used to play Chaos Dragons back when that was a thing.
Yeah.
This one is that 1 too, dude.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I remember that card was crazy.
Yeah, that was around the time. Yeah, that was when the Light Pulsar structure deck came out.
See, I wasn't playing at that time, but I was like a kid. I remember being interested, and I was just, why is this good? And then I read it, and I was like, what's the banish zone?
Yeah.
Mesmerized by the mechanics.
Why is this good? Because Future Fusion exists.
Hold on. No, real quick. I ain't gonna lie. I was in a tournament setting with someone, and I went first. I went activate Future Fusion, and they said, let's go to game 2. That's all I did was activate Future Fusion.
That's how it is
in the
sometimes,
Chaos Dragon matchup, there was literally no point in playing out anything past turn 0.
Activate Future Fusion. Scoop.
It's over.
Yeah.
Future Fusion was like an auto. I remember that one. That was so fun.
Did you play at that time? Like early 2013?
So like, I was in California. At the
Or
time.
was that 2012?
I don't remember.
2012.
I was in California and I was going to the local
It was
fair
at-
for the summer.
It was at the end of the Inzector Dino Rabbit format.
Yeah.
So like late 2012.
The helmet format.
I played a non-optimal like Chaos Dragon list. I was playing like a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon Clip on school, but I just remember like the feeling of activating Future Fusion and revealing 5-headed dragon and just like
Yeah.
send 5 from deck.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Like, hold on. Okay, so like the only reason why I was able to play the deck is because I already had 5-headed dragon
Yeah.
and Future Fusion, and I just bought 3 of the structure deck and boom.
Yeah, you were good to go.
Yeah. So that leaves Drytron as the last deck to talk about here.
You do anything to Drytron, I feel like the deck just crumbles. If you hit Herald, that sucks. Like, I don't even know where to even begin with that deck because it can still be strong, but like, we all know what the real thing is. Ben 10's just insane.
Ben 10 sucks, but I think if you remove Ben 10 from the equation,
deck is no longer the same thing.
Yeah, it makes it harder. They have to hard draw diviners, things like that.
Yeah.
I guess it does create some really awkward situations.
I think Beatrice is a real, like, super big issue.
Really? Yeah, we were
Beatrice
talking about that.
Eva, like,
Yeah, Beatrice and Eva are both problems. If you ban Eva, that deck's like...
Maybe put Eva to 1.
yeah, it's not playable.
Maybe.
I mean, it's playable, but it's not really, like, as good.
Yeah.
Nowhere near.
It doesn't... I mean, you don't end on, like, 15 negates. You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
the thing is, like, you don't see before, you used to search your orange lights and Evas with Vintens, because you had 3 of them.
right.
But now you have to search, like, your ritual monsters. You can't just search orange light. You can search orange light at the beginning, 1 orange light at the beginning of your combo.
Yeah, yeah.
But the other 2 searches off of Benton are dedicated to
Setting up the ritual
combo.
plays.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think Beatrice is... I mean, Beatrice is a card... It limits card design, and it's a great card. But I don't necessarily know that it's the issue in that deck in particular. I think it's really Eva. Because Eva's what fuels all the negates in your hand.
Well,
you know?
if you put Eva to 1, you go from having, like, 4 cards at the end of your hand? Like 4 fairies to having just 2.
Yeah, but even 2 is kind of ridiculous.
I think Beatrice is an issue because of, like, future game design in general. Like, it is a Evolve All Chain that is not... It's technically once per turn where you can activate on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, it's a quick effect, so you can just do it in their standby and do it again.
It is, like...
broken.
Strong.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about that, like, with Dragon Link, whenever everything happened, everybody's like, Dragon Link's dead. I remember looking at you, I was like, there's no way it's dead. Because as long as Quick Launch is at 3, and as long as they continue to print dragons...
That deck is playable.
Exactly.
Oh, you know, okay, so like when it first got hit, I was really devastated because that was my deck. I just kind of went up. I had a good run at least.
Yeah.
And then I actually thought, I was like, no. Chamber
Dragon Maid is God. And not because she's thick. But that card is so nasty. That card is so good.
It's and tidying.
Tidying. I remember whenever Dragon Maids first came out, everybody trashed that deck. And then they released Tidying, and the fact that you can recycle the negate and you can like put the Dragon Maid back in your hand and get another plus, it's absolutely good. That deck is crazy. It's very underrated.
And then like something else that a lot of people who play the deck don't really realize is that the deck all has a whole bunch of low attack point monsters, and then when you go battle phase, get beefy.
Yeah, and like
people
underestimate that. They're like, oh, it's just bad Cosmo. But then you go, and the big dragons, they have effect negation, attack manipulation.
Yeah, granted, it's only during the battle phase.
No.
But there's not much that interacts in the battle phase nowadays besides like Revolt.
Yeah, however...
they hope they better not play against War Rocks.
You don't have to... However, you don't have to bring back the same ones.
Yeah.
You can interchange them and go for different ones for different
to set up other plays. And not only that, it also frees them from stuff like I'm drawing a blank.
Rivalry?
Yeah.
You can play Rivalry in the deck. I got Rivalry today, and I was like, I hate my life.
Because it frees them from any on-field effects, keeping them from doing whatever they need to do.
And the thing is, you put the pluses back into your hand, and they get you more.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you're not careful, the deck will go like +8 on you, like out of nowhere.
It's just I love the mechanic. I love the way it looks. Caleb, you really just need to give me that deck.
Yeah, so Caleb got all my stuff for that deck, and
Sonny hands me a binder. It's got like 2 Dragon Maid cards. I was like,
I thought I had more in there than that.
I was like, thank you for trying to help. But...
sorry. I know someone who really likes Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid, the anime. So I was like, I gotta build a deck for her.
That's all good, man.
So the last thing to talk about, as far as the current format, I think there's a pretty heavy debate going on right now. I think everybody agrees that it's a problem, is Dragoon, Red Eyes Fusion, Verte Anaconda. right? I think everybody in this room would agree that it's...
I mean, you just saw my face drop.
Yeah. It's an issue, right? But the key is, if you're going to hit one of those three, which one do you hit?
I think you hit Anaconda, because then you have to play 3 Red Eyes Fusion in the deck.
Yeah. And then hard open it, not the...
Exactly. Well, I remember back in Orcus format
restrict you.
with Nightmare Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you stopped my combo? Oh, I have 2 creatures? Nightmare Mermaid. Summon out Nightmare, the Orcus Nightmare thing. Mm-hmm. Here's my whole combo. Now that was a little bit... I feel like that was a lot crazier, because then you get access to more Orcus stuff, and access to Dingirsu, access to a counter trap. But Dragoon is just so... I feel like only kind of like stunny decks, like slower decks, will have to play it at that point. Mm-hmm. But Anaconda in these combo decks, I remember I Nibiru'd a dude, a Phantom Knights guy, and then he just brings out Phantom Knights just go. He just brings out 2 creatures and makes a Dragoon. And like, it's just like, how is this fair? You know?
Right.
How's this fun?
So the argument for Verte is that Verte, outside of a Dragoon package specifically, is actually a kind of a fun toolboxy card in decks like Cyber Dragon, Fluffle, things like that. Even Shadal, even Prank Kids. It's a really interesting extender in those decks, but the card does limit future card design.
Exactly.
Especially fusion-based card design.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, should we really have this many fusion cards in the game that lets you send materials from the deck without restriction? I mean, well, I guess they have restriction, but...
Yeah, they're usually like restricted to typing or restricted to archetype. I'm fine with it being like restricted to it has to be result in this archetypal monster. You can only use these archetypal monsters. I'm fine with that, because then it gives them that niche.
Yeah.
Like Shadal, like the El Shadal Fusion and Shadal Fusion.
Right.
Most of the restrictions are actually like in the materials, and also like with Rise Fusion, like it has a huge restriction. Anaconda just gets around that.
Right.
Also, to make a fusion, because the fusion mechanic in general is actually a very flawed mechanic. Because you go -2 to make 1 creature, and it's like, well, to make them viable, they have to be free.
Mm-hmm. It has to be broken. Like Shadal Fusion sending from the deck is still good.
Oh, Shadal Schism, that not only fusion summons by banishing material,
but sends cards from your field as well.
Yeah. Then sends one of your opponent's monsters, depending upon what attribute. And the most common attributes in the game right now are what? Light, dark, and
fire, probably because of Tri-Brigade.
Yeah, fire, maybe earth.
Okay, well, you just listed almost every type.
Well, no. There's not a whole lot of water and wind, which are the only 2 El Shadals that are terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
All the other ones are great.
Hey, come on, the water's not that bad.
I mean,
still pretty bad.
I mean, because she locks you out of your own mechanic.
Yeah.
Your opponent's locked out of the mechanic too, but
I remember when I first saw that card, I was like, "What are they doing?"
I think we can all agree though that like Dragoon can stay. Like Dragoon's a tough card, but
it can be dealt with.
Yeah.
And not only can it be dealt with, it can, as long as it's not you can't splash it in literally everything. And the cards that make it splashable are the Red Eyes Fusion and the Anaconda, right? So
well, then you have to play Pot of Prosperity. That way you can see it. Because you're not going to play Desire. You just might banish your targets.
Yeah.
Because then now you're playing 3 Red Eyes Fusion, which are bricks in themselves.
Right.
After the first one. You have to play the Dark Magician. You have to play the Red Eyes.
Which
now you have to
both
play Pot of
bricks.
Desire. Exactly. And if you're selling out on that, then you're not playing a deck that's, summoning 1,000 monsters. You're playing like something like an Eldritch. Or
Gravekeepers have been doing it.
Yeah.
I think the real issue comes in though. Like if you look at Anaconda, that card itself should have been more restrictive on the materials. Like it should have been 2 Predaplant monsters.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue.
2 effect monsters is insane.
Yeah. Or like at least like 2 some restriction, 2 dark monsters, 2 plant monsters.
Yeah.
Plants are already broken. Don't give them more.
Dude, I wish that plants would come back though, man. I miss Blow Up Bolt so much.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying though. It needed to have been more restrictive than just any 2 monsters.
Yeah, any 2 effect monsters. That's crazy. If I'm gonna hit it, I think Red Eyes Fusion is the hit, but I have a sweet spot for those weird janky fusion decks.
It's
so
an anime type card, man.
Yeah.
I activate Red Eyes Fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
did I search off a Red Eyes Insight?
that card is. I mean, you could play that card. It might not be optimal, but you can try it.
Yeah, 3 Red Eyes Insight, 1 Red Eyes Fusion. Well, that's still 2 bricks.
Yeah, that turns into. But I've seen some people play like 3 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 or 2 Red Eyes Insight. Because like in like something like a Gravekeeper deck, realistically, you're just 100% like a stunner control deck anyway. And you just have lots of space for the extra cards, traps, hand traps, lots of flex spots, and you can run like a larger package. So, because realistically in that deck, like Dragoon is your win con.
Yeah.
So
one of them anyway.
Mm-hmm. So let's look forward. Let's assume that those 3 decks get handled in some way. There's like 3 main decks that I want to talk about. Pretty much everybody's heard about them at this point. We have Flunderies, Sword Soul, and Exorcister.
But before we get into that, I believe it is time to talk about our sponsor.
Absolutely. So, of course, our sponsor that we talk about every time is ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. For those that don't know, ETB Games is our locals. It is also the locals of Dylan and Trevor here. So, ETB Games, they sell all kinds of products: Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon, basically accessories to go with all the games, basically whatever you need for these games.
And then Warhammer, D&D.
Right. Board games, pretty much whatever you want to find.
They have sporting cards too, huh?
Yeah,
they have tons of sports cards. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're into baseball and football cards, they got them.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a great place to go and hang out with your buddies. They've got 2 or 3 TVs there. They let you just go in and
hook it up. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Whatever you basically can think of to be a nerd, whatever you can think of to just go in there, hang out. There's special rooms just for D&D. It really is a wonderful environment that I cannot recommend enough. Again, that is in Alexandria, Louisiana. We know that it's not super close for everybody that listens, but for the people that do listen, that are not super close, you can also find a link to them in our description below. That is etbgames.com. And if you want to go through there to find their TCG player link, you can find that. So we would really love it if you went in and you supported them. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys should come hang out with us, man.
Absolutely.
I'm called the Angry Duelist all the time, though. So Dylan thinks I'm too aggressive, but Sonny thinks it's awesome sometimes.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty. I love
sometimes.
it.
Whenever I'm not screaming.
Yeah, as long as you don't like take it to like a toxic level.
Yeah, no, I don't take things toxic. Sometimes it's like I just want to blow up, but I hold it in sometimes.
Which is always a good thing.
Yeah, and come play in our GOAT tournaments, man.
Oh, definitely.
We have some pretty good GOAT players. We really do. And
yeah, I'm really happy about where the scene has come from where we started there.
Oh gosh, yes.
I mean, we've all put in a lot of time and effort and energy.
Yeah.
And the people that run the shop have put a lot of time, effort, and energy into really expanding all of the communities. But I mean, a lot of improvement has happened in the Yu-Gi-Oh side. Become an OTS store, regular tournaments. We do giant monthly tournaments. Anybody within a 3 to 4 hour radius, you should absolutely come to.
Highly recommend it.
Every now and then, those monthly tournaments. And basically anywhere in the state of Louisiana, you can get there in like less than 3 hours, just because it's so centrally located.
They're so friendly too, man. You walk in, they're ready to help you.
Yeah.
And, like, if you come in a stranger, man, you leave family for real.
Yeah. There's a reason that like there's multiple shops that are close to me, and ETB is what I consider my locals. That's my like home shop. I love it there. It's an environment unlike any I've ever seen in any card shop ever.
Yeah, and Sonny, you live like an hour away?
Yeah.
And I live 2 hours away, and I still come up and play.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's well worth it if you're in the Alexandria area. Swing on by.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and move on into the upcoming stuff. We have some stuff coming out in Burst of Destiny and Grand Creators. I've pulled up the Flunderies, I've pulled up the Sword Souls, and I've pulled up the Exorcisters. Now, if you don't want to talk about Exorcisters, that's fine, because I know you haven't read the cards, you don't know what they do.
I'm not too familiar with that, and the Flunderies, I just know that it's normal summon 10 billion and stop your opponent from normal summoning. Not normal summon, special summoning.
Oh yeah, but giving them a bunch of normal summons.
Yeah, it's like
Do with them as you will.
I like the Sword Souls though. Number one, I love the Tenyi cards.
Right.
Whenever they first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, like these cards are freaking cool. They're just dragons. They bounce. You can activate them from their hand. And when the light one came out, I was like, dude, this has the potential to be tier 1.
Right.
And then I saw the Sword Souls, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. They just make the tuners, and you have a toolbox to like synchro 8s, and you just do so much. And the fact that you could dump the token collector with the what's that card's name? The Quasar? It's not a Quasar. Shooting Riser Dragon or something.
Yeah.
That when I saw that, I was like, somebody has been on Duel and Book
in the lab.
I'm like, gosh bless. Like, I would have never thought of that. And the deck, the fact that you can run Crimson Blader, it's just like I feel like the format is gonna slow up more. Because I think, they'll hit Drytron, and Tri-Brigade's really not as fast as what people think it is.
Yeah.
But if they hit Tri-Brigade and they hit Prank Kids, Flunderies ain't doing nothing super crazy, except super advantage.
Oh, yeah, and even then they're stopped by a single hand trap.
Yeah, because I think the Flunderies are really fragile.
Yeah, like with the Robin, the Searcher, if you stop that, they don't get the other normal summon, and they don't extend via special summons.
Yeah. So
that just turn-ends them.
The other day I was playing against that deck, and they did their normal summon, and I effect veilered it. Because thankfully they didn't have the Shifter. Because Shifter is a heck of a... The only reason why that deck is going to be crazy is because of Shifter.
Yeah. Right. And they'll go entire turns without putting a single thing in the grave.
And I effect veilered the normal summon, and he spazzed, and I was like, hey, sucks to suck, bro.
I think Gamma's going to be a huge thing.
Gamma is going to be a freaking tank.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's just going to be like, that's a nice, whatever you have.
If you're not playing Flunderies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the Sword Souls is going to be really good too because it's such a small package. You can run almost like 20 side deck cards because it's
give or take, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 of the 6, 3 of each 4. Your small 10E package, and then the search card and the trap, and then that's like 20 something slots. That's gonna be insane.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be able to play. You're gonna hand trap him to death.
Oh yeah, and then like over in the OCG, because they have Max C, they're putting Colossal Fighter in there.
When Dylan told me about that, I was like, what? Like,
yeah,
that's so cool.
I love the interaction there of just being able to crash Colossal Fighter infinitely and just deck out your opponent. I love that.
When they started doing Crimson Blader, I was like, oh my god, I'm about to have
Next
an aneurysm or
level.
something.
Like as far as I know, Crimson Blader is exclusively for the mirror.
Yeah.
But even still, that's still a super cool...
Well, it's the best deck there.
Yeah, like just the fact that it's this old card that when it came out and everybody just kind of went, eh.
Seems okay, someday, just not right now, yeah.
And then... all of a sudden, you need it.
Yeah. And Dragite, the fact that you can make that Adamantipator card.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, wow, I could just make a one negate. Oh, your normal summon? Yeah, negate that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't need that. Just get that out of here.
Yeah, the synchro, you could chain block, draw, search, just freaking insane. Like, that deck is definitely going to be tier 1. Flunderies, I think everybody really overhyped it. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be tier 1. Deck is definitely going to be very solid, but people are like, tier 0, even myself, they're like, tier 0, the birds are coming, and I'm dude, in our chat and for ETB games, I was just like, the birds are coming, and I just kept sending pictures of birds, and people were like, Trevor, stop. I was like, they're coming, bro, get ready.
Alfred Hitchcock, the birds.
Yeah, dude,
just pelting people with fake birds.
Yeah, that, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. I think the Flunderies deck will be good if they are allowed to play, but the issue is when you have a deck like Sword Soul, which just kind of hard counters them because of that ability to play 15 to 20 side deck cards, hand traps, things like that, it makes it tough.
My question is this too. Okay, Flunderies is the best deck. What happens when you start playing and I just go Lancia?
Yeah, exactly. Or effect Veiler or Imperm or...
Oh, dude, I'm running Triple. I mean, Ash obviously doesn't work in that match. Ash might get dropped out next format. I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe this might be the first time where the format where people just don't search.
Well, if they hit
often.
everything that we talked about, really think about it. What are you hitting in the Sword Souls deck? Besides the search card, but if they normal summon, you just effect or impermanent or gamma it.
Right. That way you can just, they don't summon the token and it just kind of stops them.
Exactly. And then like against Flunderees, it's like, what are you going to Ash? Absolutely nothing. Unless there's a card I'm missing.
Rabina, if you Ash Rabina or Eaglin, which are the two searchers, they don't get the normal summon.
Yeah, that extra normal summon.
Oh, then I'm just bad. Don't mind me.
Yeah, the search is directly tied to the normal summon.
So if you Ash the search, they literally cannot get that extra normal summon.
It is, the specific wording is search the blah blah blah, search the card.
Yeah.
And then after this effect resolves, normal summon a winged beast.
Yeah.
The counterpoint to that though is that if you effect Veil or imperm them, it does the same thing.
Exactly.
It's a more versatile card, you know?
Exactly. It like effect Veil and imperm are going to cover every basis. Don't get me wrong. I'll probably play Ash, but I'm saying like
it handles Rogue too.
It might be we might drop Ash to put Artifact Lancia in now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Skullmeister. Or something a little more impactful.
Exactly.
Right. So I think that those realistically are going to be like two of the most how do you put it?
Pertinent.
Yeah, that's going to be like the two most pertinent ones. Those both come out at the same time in Burst of Destiny, which I believe is slated for maybe
October, November.
Super late October. Maybe like November 5th or something like that.
Yeah, like late October.
Dates are...
Yeah, it's got me all confused. It's like late October, early November, something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't want to be that person. I might sit that format out, man. Because there's just so much going on. When you said 8 sets in 4 months, I was like, what?
Well, most of them are reprints.
It's like 3 or 4 reprint sets. Brothers, like the biggest thing from like the only new cards from Brothers of Legend that I know of is like the Kree Brothers and the level 5 Karibo, Kree Babylon.
Yeah, but you get so much stuff in Burst of Destiny and all that. And like, what if Flunderees really does live up to that hype?
Well, the crazy thing about Flunderees isn't even like the Flunderees cards are crazy, but then the deck gets Pot of Greed also in Synchro Storm.
I pay 600, draw 2. I'm like, wow.
However, you also have to remember that they can't like normal summon, search, and then activate the card. They have to wait. They have to do it at the start if they already have a board. They have to wait all the way to the end of their combo line.
Why is it? Does it lock you?
It has to have 2 wing beasts, huh?
You have to have at least 2 winged beasts. So the problem is that when you like, let's say you normal summon Rabina, effect search, and then immediately normal summons it. Effect search, immediately normal summons it. If you don't do the normal summon, it because the effects just collapse in on each other over and over and over. You don't get to stop mid combo to play something else. You're just constantly.
You have to keep going.
You have to keep going.
So there's no time. Yeah.
There's just no way for you to play it unless you start at the beginning or the very end.
It's either all the way out or nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unless you like do, unless you're running like what I've seen some people run, and like they'll like when it's time to normal summon, they'll normal summon like a barrier statue or a Ryza, and then activate it, draw 2, and then double summon and go back in.
See, that's the thing. It's like...
But then you have to run double summon.
Exactly. That's why I don't think Flunderees are going to be as crazy as what we thought they were.
Yeah. Granted, Impin, I think, one of the higher level ones, also gives you an additional normal summon that you can just use on whatever. But then you're also having to bookend that combo line with the Impin just to play one card and then just go right back in it.
Doesn't the field spell give you an extra normal summon?
I don't remember if it's the field spell or one of the 2 higher level ones.
I think the field spell does give you an extra summon. I know that the level 10 can give you like 3 extra normal summons.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Wouldn't Nibiru just kind of pee-pee all over that deck?
Yeah.
No. Oh, well, it's normal or special.
Yeah, it just summons and jump. Yeah, no, just...
I'm already on it, man. I'm already on it. You heard it.
You know what card just straight up does not... You know what card this deck just straight up does not care about?
What's up?
Winda.
Sure.
I'm just gonna keep normal summoning in your face.
Everybody buy your Mask of Restricts now.
Yeah, no fooling.
Sonny, stop. Don't let them know.
the last thing to talk about is the Exor Sisters. So I know that you don't really... I'll just give you like a TLDR on it. The Exor Sisters are basically an entire archetype revolved around your opponent doing things with their graveyard.
Special summoning monsters out, activating effects in the graveyard.
Right. So, like...
So they're bad Psy-frames.
It is a pretty reactive deck, like Psy-frames are.
Yeah.
But God help your opponent if they have a monster that was special summoned from the graveyard on their field.
Yeah.
God help them.
Yeah, so, like, some of them are... If you control an Exor Sister, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if you could... Like, actually, they all have that effect. It's
but it's... you have to control a very specific name. Because there's 4 of them, and then each of them are in a pair.
There's 2 E names and 2 S names. Elise and Elaine and Stella and Sophia.
Yeah.
And, like, they interact with each other. And so, like, they can summon the other one from the grave or from the deck or from your hand, depending on which one it is.
Yeah.
And, like, how you're summoning it out. It's got some really interesting interactions. Plus, the deck also just got an E-Telly.
Like, just straight up E-Telly.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, but I mean, look at Mutants. It had like a Shaddoll Fusion, E-Telly, and all that, and it was that poor deck. One of our boys was playing it, and he'd activate these broken cards, and then like you just
Ash.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. The other cool thing about it though is that
you can exceed during your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
That's
So they have trigger effects. That, like, if a card leaves a graveyard by an opponent's card, you can special summon an Exor Sister Exceeds from the extra deck using it as material. So, like, you don't have to, like, use 2 to overlay them.
Does it kind of work like the Plunder Patrol type cards where they, like, special summon from the extra deck and they get, like, effects and whatnot whenever they're special summoned? Or...
Yeah, so, like, some of the Exor Sisters, if this card is Exceed summoned previously this turn by using an Exor Sister monster as material, quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, or if this card succeeds summoning using an Exor Sister, you can activate this effect. For the rest of this turn, neither player can special summon from the graveyard. Or draw one card.
But
or target one monster in your opponent's field, negate the effects for the rest of the turn. Stuff like
that effect's pretty good.
Yeah.
But think about...
Or neither player can activate card effects in the graveyard. It's all about the graveyard.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, think about the format that's coming up.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Flunderies doesn't care about the graveyard. Isn't that funny how that stuff happens? They give us these insane 2 decks, and then they give you this one that the other 2 decks are just like bully. You know?
Yeah.
Just don't care.
So.
Yeah, and like, if it came out right now, it'd be alright.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Actually, it would kind of... Drivetron would...
Fair enough.
They would crap just all over Drivetron.
Yeah.
Dude, it'd be bad against Tri-Brigade. Like, it would be crazy good against Tri-Brigade, too.
Tri-Brigade would be able to play, but, man...
Not near as well.
Prank Kids.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
it's one set too late.
And what's crazy is, that's what I was talking about in...
A set late, $1 short.
Yeah, we were talking about this in another episode. That deck is going to be super format dependent. In certain formats, that deck's going to be insane just because it all depends on what the other decks at the time are.
Well, it's kind of like, gosh bless, what was that format where they had Magispector Kieran? And I remember that BA was still good at the time because it had like Beatrice and all that.
It was like 2016.
2016 format. And I remember and Pendulum was okay, but it wasn't triple Beatrice,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
And I remember Kieran because like they couldn't deal with it except like a F0, and so that Kieran just kept bouncing stuff. And I remember just one Kieran would just destroy an entire like BA field, and it just like the instance of, gosh, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about like there's just this like interactions, like it was format dependent, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
There's definitely... It's so interesting to me when a deck like that releases because, like, Konami has to know when they put that out that it's gonna be format dependent.
Yeah.
So it's like, anytime you're playing a deck that's like graveyard dependent after this comes out, you're always gonna have to be like on the lookout. Where's the Exor Sister player?
You gotta. And like something like another thing about the deck that that just occurred to me is that the main deck monsters are one type, and the extra monsters are another type. So it's kind of hard to floodgate them.
Yeah.
Because even if you TC boo them, they'll just shrug and make the one material ones.
Yeah.
There's
Don't get me
definitely
started
some-
on. Oh, sorry, Sonny.
No, I was gonna say there's definitely some interesting dynamics there.
Don't even get me started on floodgates. I'm so tired of looking at rivalry and goes and match, dude.
Sorry.
Everybody,
Caleb,
and dude, people feel so good about themselves when they flip it. It's like you can't play, and then I'm just like, oh, watch this crap.
Oh, no. Like, I flipped Gozen once today, and I felt horrible. Because it won me the game, yeah, but
That's
at what
crazy.
cost?
Every time you play it against me, you smile.
Yeah, because it's you.
Oh, gee, thanks.
That's messed up, bro. That's your boy.
He smiles because it's his only hope.
Sometimes, yes.
I had a dude today. I normal summoned one of my tri brigade names. He had like 3 set, and I go banish for cost, and he flips up rivalry, and I go chain twin twister, and he had to like use like a droplet and everything, and then like he summoned for some he was playing the Dragon Maid deck,
Yeah.
but he's playing a crappy build of it, and he summons Striker Dragon just to search out the field spell, but no like anything else. And he wasn't playing anything else. I guess it was just to get another card, or and so he searched out. Yeah, just to search out the field spell. I was like, what?
And
No, nothing else.
he didn't have Tracer or anything like that?
No, I'm not. I know it was crazy.
Wow.
Tracer Recharger, that's all you need.
Look, man, I'm just the messenger.
Caleb's so upset right now.
I'm just the messenger. Okay,
Caleb's
so
over here having an aneurysm.
he does the droplet or whatnot. I'm like, okay, and then it was Kuraz. It was 1200. He has like no other cards on his field besides like he has like one other card and he draws for turn. He has one card in his hand. He goes battle phase and he goes attack with his tracer into my Kuraz. I said, yeah, yours dies. And he goes, oh, I didn't know it was 1200 attack. I thought droplet was permanent. It is. It isn't permanent, is it?
No.
Yeah. And he said, I thought droplet was permanent. And I read through it. Sorry, I'm tired right now. I can't think. Right?
That's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
And I just smiled. I said, yeah, man, goes to grave. And then it just Kuraz started banishing. I started getting my revolts and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, that's so stupid. Like I was like, bro, should have read, dog. Should have read.
Dude, I played against that same player today. And we
was something
had
different.
well, we had a moment where he activated the Dragon Maid that says you can't activate the effect of that card this turn. And he targeted my Appaloosa. And I had like strikes, imperms, Valors. Like I'm good. Like it's fine. Negate the Appaloosa. I'll leave it at 2400. You have to get a monster that's bigger than that through like 4 interruptions.
Keep in mind, it's not negating Appaloosa's effect. You just can't activate it.
Exactly.
So yeah, so she keeps her attack.
Does a couple of things here and there, and his end board is a single rocket tracer and a boot sector launch. Which the rocket.
Oh, he was playing tracers?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, they were in the deck. I guess he just didn't get to it when he was playing against you.
No, he showed me his hand one time and it had the tracers in his hand. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Okay, so yeah, he was playing tracer.
But wait,
So he summoned tracer.
that's
against
terrible
me.
then, because
He's okay. People from that local listen to this. The point is, he had a tracer on board, and he went into striker, search boot sector, and he had a striker dragon on board. And I kept interrupting him, but he had striker and he had boot sector, and he was like, let's just. He's like, okay, I think that's as far as I can go. Let's just striker attack Appaloosa. I was like, yeah, sure. He dies. You take 1400. And he looked at me. He was like, oh, but Appaloosa's negated. I was like, no, it's not. I just can't activate the effect. It's not negated. And he picks up the dragon. He's like, oh, no.
Poor guy.
whoopsie.
Yeah.
Look, he just had a non-optimal build. You were free to play what you want, man. You know? Like, me personally, I would not play the striker in a Dragon Maid list. I would definitely play...
Well, there's like Dragon Link Dragon Maids, you know? They like he's
saying,
got the ability to go into like Borreload Savage.
He was going more like
that.
a trap version of Dragon Maids.
Yeah.
And I think you just need to kind of sell out.
Actually, now that I think about it, this might have been 2 different players.
Oh, really?
And you're saying mixing-
I don't know. It might have been the same. I don't
know. They had 2 Dragon Maids there, which is cool. I really just wanted to get their deck list, but
Yeah.
we were ready to head out. We were starving.
Oh, dude, I was so hungry.
Sonny's over there crying, I'm ready to eat.
All I had was a handful of almonds and a bear claw. I was hungry.
I told you to get some Cheez-Its, man. The white cheddars are great. Shout out to Cheez-Its. I don't know if we can say that.
Cheez-Its, sponsor us.
I don't know if we could say that, but...
Let's get the Cheez-Its sponsorship, everybody.
I don't think Cheez-Its cares.
Well, Trevor,
Yes.
do you have any parting words?
Oh, no. I appreciate coming on the podcast. I hope I wasn't a stick in the mud, so...
I thought it was a fun and interactive conversation the entire time, and
Oh yeah.
that's all that matters.
No. Hopefully, I was a little bit better than Dylan.
You definitely did better than me.
No.
Oh yeah, you were 100% better than Dylan.
What? You're not that bad, man.
No, Dylan's the worst.
I'm good. You're natural.
I'm not.
You're natural.
Y'all always gas me up, bro. But I just feel like I'm just a buffoon.
Hey, when was the last time you went to a tournament that you didn't top? Okay. That's enough. The lack of a response. This is not a video format, but he literally, his mouth opened and he stopped and he closed his mouth and he looked away like he was thinking because he had to think about it.
Yeah, like
I do have one.
For a split second, he looked like a deer in headlights.
We were at, can I say like gaming store, other gaming stores?
Fine.
Pandemonium Gaming. I was running a non-optimal build of the Zoo Eldritch List. Because Dylan, he was right. I was running way too many hand traps in a trap deck because I'm an idiot. I'll just admit it. I was running like main deck Nibiru and like Imperms, and Imperm was really not in the format. And I didn't play I kind of, number one, didn't feel like being there, really.
Yeah.
I kind of went with Dylan to support, and he did well. He got 10th. And I went 3-3. And I haven't done that since 2016.
Okay.
Every other time, man, I've done well, topped.
That's why we gas you up.
And I was sitting there and I was like, dude, like, I remember Dylan, we were riding home. I said, bro, like, I'm so depressed right now.
I want to say it was our first tournament traveling since we got back.
Yes, that was our first tournament traveling since we got back into the game.
Yeah.
So I had, like, barely any knowledge of how.
Okay, yeah, so this is like your first tournament post beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
So, like, you have no format experience at all.
This is coming straight out of Magic.
Straight out of
standard Magic, and I was like, I'm playing Eldritch no matter what because I always wanted to play it.
Right.
And Dryden was crazy, and I had Zeus's because I just got super hard back into it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had no idea. I didn't know that Schism existed. I didn't know that. I didn't know what Nadir's Servant was.
Right.
People were activating Nadir's Servant. I said, "What? What are you doing?
That card does what?"
And then like people summoned Wenda. I'm like, "Why are y'all playing this?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, now I remember why we used to play it."
Yeah. That's why we gassed you up though, because you're pretty good.
I don't think I am. I have a good bunch of guys that help me test. I have a good bunch of people in my life that push me. My wife is always super supportive, especially whenever we go to tournaments and we open cool cards and stuff like that. She gets really excited. Also have a great traveling buddy in Dylan. We've been doing this for ever, and dude, come out to ETB Games, man, and hang out with us. Like I said, I am the angry duelist, but I promise I'm only angry whenever I'm dueling. Other than that, I'm super chill. But
well, we want to thank you so much for coming in and staying till 1 a.m. to record with us.
Yeah, no problem, man.
After the tournament. So just quick on the outro. Thank you so much for ETB Games for being our sponsor. We really do appreciate it, and that literally goes for everybody in this room. ETB Games is awesome.
I love you, Nick.
We all love you.
He's alright. No, I'm just playing.
Thank you so much to ETB Games, obviously. One huge thank you to our patrons. You mean the world to us. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. For anybody else looking to become a patron and get that extra episode every week, you can look for the link in the description below. It will be in every episode from here on out. Of course, huge shout out to Team Darkroom Dealings here in the studio with us.
Appreciate it.
Be sure to check out their channel. There are some more deck profiles coming. There's always new content coming. Probably 3 to 4 videos a week is pretty standard. Or
oh gosh, I wish we were that competent.
Depends on what tournaments you go to.
Yeah,
you don't switch your decks that much, and like obviously like my draw, I feel like I've come to a point, like, and I think you've come to a point where like your deck.
Yeah, it'll be like, hey, let's get our deck profiles. It's like, nobody will see that crap.
It hasn't changed since the last list.
Once the build gets optimized, it's like
it's just kind of switching out hand traps.
Last time I was running Cat Brigade, and now I ran Zoo Brigade, but nobody will see my ugly mug on there, bro. That's why we try to get other people on it, because we want the community to feel welcome. You know?
But it's not just advanced lists that get posted there, right?
Oh yeah, it's Go Format 2, brother.
Yep, and I think Dylan he's gonna have a Plant Synchro list coming soon.
I have an idea. Like I want to start doing other videos, like past format videos, just to
discussion videos, past format videos,
just kind of like diversify and try and get some more content out there.
Absolutely.
Anybody wants to play LOB format, man?
I'm good.
I know that people hate it.
I think I actually have a playset of Skull Red Birds.
Oh, bro, I love it.
Oh man,
I got one of those nice Legends, the super rare from like forever ago. I can't remember. Retro pack.
Yeah,
nice.
Dude, Legend's like one of my. He's just like this buff green guy. How can you not love him? You know.
He's like the Hulk, but more magical.
Well, that format is trash, but for some reason,
it's horrible.
I'm really good at it.
I mean, it's super fun. It's super fun.
To be fair, there is a certain amount of resource conservation that goes into that.
My Lord.
Because you have things like Dark Hole's in that format, right?
Oh yeah, and Regeki, and Pot, and Charity.
Is Charity in that format?
No, not gosh bless, not Charity. Change of Heart.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Graceful Charity didn't come out until like starter deck
Pegasus.
Yeah. But there's and Monster Reborn's in that format.
Yes.
So I mean, think about it. You have Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn, Change of Heart,
Card Destruction's at 2, but it's not good.
Yeah. Just
it's not
the amount of gas that's in that format. Like, if you have true resource conservation skills, there's
amazingly.
There is a certain amount of interplay in that format, and there's no traps, so you don't have to worry about back row.
Well, you have Trap Hole, but that's it. Like, and then you have
two-pronged attack.
Yeah, are we really going to attribute 2 to destroy 1?
Absolutely, going to destroy that blue eyes.
It definitely came up in Simo's. What series was that he did? Where they did just LOB?
Yeah,
and he played like two-pronged attack in the side deck and side him in, and they came up, and he won both. He won the match because of it. It comes up.
I'd just rather fissure the card.
But think about it. You can Change of Heart and steal one of your opponent's monsters,
and then
that's spicy.
And then
you also have Monster Reborn to steal one out of your opponent's graveyard. You can there's ways you can do it where you're not distributing 2 of your own monsters.
You want to know what deck is actually really? Sorry, we're really getting off topic.
It's okay.
You know what deck is actually really, really good in that format? Freaking Soul Control.
Yeah.
Because you played Judge Man and Summon Skull because really annoying.
Summon Skull is not in LOB format, is it?
Mm-hmm. Summon Skull is. It's the best one tribute.
I thought Summon Skull was the next set.
It's in the Yugi structure deck.
So the structure decks are legal?
Yes.
Yeah, the structure decks are legal.
Starter deck came out first.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yugi
and Kaiba are legal, but not Joey Pegasus. Because Joey Pegasus have like Graceful and stuff.
Correct.
And it had Relinquish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It would be a cooler little format if it had that. But Soul Control, because Stall and Poke is everywhere in that format.
Right.
Giant Soldier of Stone, the Aqua
Mystical
Mystical Elf, but do you just like tribute stuff?
Prevent Rat.
Yeah.
I think Prevent Rat might have been Metal Raiders.
Prevent Rat? What is that?
It's a 2000 defender from Metal Raiders.
It's a 3-star 2000 defense beast.
I think it's from Metal Raiders, I think, actually.
Oh, okay,
I don't remember if it's from LOB or Metal Raiders.
Dude, all those old normal monsters, they could be from any set.
I freaking love them, bro.
Yeah,
they look so freaking cool.
Some of the text on them, I love.
Yeah.
The mystical genie of the lamp that will give you your every wish. I'm like, bro, who thinks of this crap?
Hey, 10 words are better than what they're putting on the normal monsters now. They put...
Check this out.
Oh, yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, wait, hold on. My favorite.
Have you seen the suit ship?
Yeah, I was about to whip that out and start reading it.
Whoa, don't whip anything out in here, Caleb.
This is a PG show now. No,
but no, like in all seriousness, it's like the sous ship vanilla monster is just a review of the sous ship, and it's hilarious.
Oh, dude, it's
rated 4 stars.
The only reason why I wanted to build that deck, because it's absolutely atrocious, was because of the normal monster.
Oh yeah. It's hilarious.
And then a Noble Knight Arturgus, the vanilla Noble Knight. His flavor text is a poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the new Magic-y one, the normal text on him is like a mile long.
Yeah.
Oh, and then what was it? The Evil Storm Vanilla. All of its flavor text was backwards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In English and Japanese, but the way they did it they had to do it weirdly in Japanese. And it's really cool.
Have you read the normal monsters from Joey's World?
Oh yeah, I was just about to bring that up. They do it in a Brooklyn. They typed it out in a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah,
they did. I remember.
Like Little D was
the fast speed of sound.
yeah. Like Little D was this dinosaur may be tiny, but he packs a bite or something.
Packs a punch or something like that. But like even the text, like if you just hear it like that, it doesn't sound that weird. But the fact that it's it's
if you
typed out on the card the way it sounds like
with the Joey accent. Okay, so like if you ever get a hole in these cards and read them with Joey's voice in your head.
Yeah.
And you'll hear it, baby.
And you'll hear it perfectly. Yeah. It is great.
So. Okay, we are actually going to wrap it up now, though. I promise.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, we all contributed to that.
No. That was all of us working together on that.
Thank you again to ETV Games. Thank you again. Huge shout out to our sponsors. Huge shout out to Team Dark Arm Dealings. Please be sure to join our Discord server for everybody but Trevor because you refuse to use Discord. Please be sure to follow us on Twitter at Top Cut Podcast, at JamTheMan17, and at Datch Chumley. Is there anything... I shouted out the YouTube. Is there anything else y'all want to plug?
Shout out to my wife. She's the most incredible wife. Your wife. You think your wife's better, but mine's better.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Alrighty. And for those that do want to listen on Audible now, we are, as of yesterday, available on Audible. So please be sure to listen to us wherever it is most comfortable for you. If there's somewhere else you want to listen to us, let us know. We're always open to suggestions. Best way to contact us is through the Discord. Everybody, have a good day.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys.